The following portion of Great Day KC is sponsored by Wallentine Injury Law.
We're here at Wallentine Injury Law to discuss the anatomy of a personal injury settlement. Jerry, what happens when you all open a case?
Well, the first thing we do is we want to get to know our client. We don't believe in just kind of quick turnarounds. We want to know the people. We want to know what our client's dealing with. So that's the first thing, is we get to know our client and what are their issues and what are their needs, what are their concerns.
Yeah, so after you've had that conversation, that discussion with your client, what happens next?
It depends on the case. Typically, the first thing we do is we send out correspondence to the different insurance companies involved, let them know, hey, Wallentine's involved, so this is serious. We're going to need significant funds. Our client needs help, and they know who we are. So that's the first thing we do.
So how do insurance companies respond once you tell them that?
Typically, they're like, okay, well, all right, this is probably a legit case, and they send out some kind of acknowledgement to us. They'll a lot of times call us, just say, hey, we got your letter. We understand you're representing them, and that's how they respond usually.
Okay, now at that point, is that when you and the insurance company kind of start discussing the settlement?
You would think, but no.
Okay.
We don't want to rush into settlement. Again, we don't want to just quick turn and burn. We want to really investigate what's going on. We want to get our clients, get them to the right places, get the right treatment, and so we take our time, and before we start even really talking about settlement. Now, sometimes, in some cases we might, but usually we do not rush it at all, and we just line the case up as perfectly as we can.
Okay, so I guess it probably, varies case by case, right? When do you eventually get to the settlement?
A great question. So, and a lot of it depends on the when the client comes to us. But a lot of times what we initially want to do is, get our client, figure out what their needs are, and get the right medical treatment lined up. A lot of times they haven't even got the right help yet. Sometimes it's counseling, sometimes it's lining up the right experts. So we want to do all those things, and that does, primarily, it helps our client meet their needs. Yeah. But number two, it's then also building the case for our client to help communicate to the insurance company why this is such a serious case. After we spend that significant time doing those kind of things, that's when we put together a demand packet and send it out to the insurance company and start that process of negotiating.
Okay, so are there more steps once you've built the case and you've submitted that, or once you've submitted it, do you settle the case then?
So usually, yeah, after we send that demand, that's kind of the beginning, and from there, there's a lot of jockeying. We go back and forth. Sometimes we go to mediation. Sometimes our client begins to see, oh, actually, I need more of this or more of that, and so it starts that process. Sometimes, within a month or two, we get it resolved after we send out the demand. Sometimes it still might be a year. Sometimes we go to trial, and it might be 3 years.
Oh, wow. What would you say is probably the number one factor in getting a good settlement for your clients?
Well, having a legit case, but probably the number one thing is that insurance company needs to know, oh, this is an attorney that is totally fine with filing cases and taking it to trial. Otherwise, there's nothing to really hold them to the fire.
So is that something that you actually do here?
Oh, yeah, regularly. We love filing cases. Of course, we love settling cases, but we are totally down with filing cases and taking them to trial.
Oh, wow. Well, definitely a lot of important steps when it comes to building a case and getting the proper settlement. Jerry, thank you so much for your time. If you find yourself needing someone to represent you in your personal injury case, you need Jerry. All the information you need to know is listed right there on your screen.
Preceding portion of Great Day KC was sponsored by Wallentine Injury Law.